about the performance analysis. We will discuss about the performance analysis for individual and organizational development. So let us first start with the definition of the performance analysis. What is called as performance analysis? Performance analysis is the process of identifying the organization's performance requirements and comparing them to its objectives and capabilities. It involves identification of gaps, the gaps in the performance. In addition to determining the performance gap, part of the performance analysis process involves assessing the impact, results, or consequences of such gaps, consequences of such discrepancies. If there is a wide gap in the performance, then it arises the few questions, and questions are on the direct cost, opportunity cost, and the intangible cost. If an organization is not performing well, so it may have the impact on the direct cost. Direct cost would include the poor quality resulting in products that cannot be sold. It may result into the opportunity cost which are not easy to measure. Maybe it can be like missed sales or less than optimum productivity. There may be intangible cost also because of the performance gap, and it mainly deals with the employee and the customer confidence. Like the customers don't have the full confidence on the products of that particular company. So there must be the proper analysis on the performances of the individuals as well as the whole organization. Once there is a gap in the performances, then it may go for the cause analysis, that what exactly are the root cause for which reason there is a performance gap in the organization. When we talk about the objectives of the performance analysis, it includes the following, like identification of the factors that have helped the appraisee reach the level of the performance he achieved in relation to the various key performance areas. These may be called as the facilitating factors. The second is the identification of the factors that hinders him from performing well, or that creates the difficulty for him in performing well, and these factors are called as the hindering factors. The third is the identification of the factors that the appraisee can do something about to retain if they are the facilitators, or reduce or eliminate if they are the hindering factors. Then identifying developmental needs for the better performance, and at last gaining a better understanding about the appraisee, his role requirements, and the situation in which he is working. The performance analysis exercises can be done at the different levels. It can be at the organizational level, it can be at the process level, and it can be at the individual performance level. Let us first start with the organizational level. This kind of analysis focuses on the ability of the organization to meet the customer needs, to compete in the marketplace, carry out the strategies, and to achieve the goals. The organizations are usually analyzed on these important parameters. Then at the process level, analysis is carried out about the processes and the internal systems that are there to achieve the organizational objectives. The last is the individual performance level, in which the analysis is carried out about the employees and how they are carrying out their work activities. So performance analysis may be conducted at different levels. Now, why performance analysis? Like, performance analysis is important for any organization just to check the gaps, if there are any in the performances at the organization level or at the individual level. Like, performances of individuals, DADs, teams, and organizations can be isolated and analyzed, just as the organization do a SWOT analysis of their performances and plan strategies to improve the performance. In the performance analysis, SWOT of every individual performance and plan strategies are taken to improve at all the levels. Such an analysis should be done with total transparency and sincerity. If performance analysis is used in any organization, then it should be taken as an important component of the appraisal. There is the performance equation, and it is basically for the individual performance. Individual performance may be measured in terms of the ability of that individual, multiplied by motivational factors, multiplied by organizational support, and minus by chance factors. So with this kind of the equation, we can have the graph of the individual performance. And then there are few steps that are used in any organization to conduct the performance analysis for the individuals. First point is, after discussions on the key performance areas, objectives, and other dimensions with the reporting officer, the appraisee should periodically keep reflecting about how well he is progressing in his work and in relation to KPIs and other dimensions. While performing or during the performance period, the employee comes across the various experiences in which he feel helped, like he feels supported. So all that kind of the points must be noted by that employee on a piece of a paper or a diary. In noting this, the focus should be on the factors that helped him in his performance. And these factors are also called as the facilitating factors. Similarly, in step number 3, there may be the cases in which the employee felt difficulties, he experienced various failures and the difficulties, and again the same thing will repeat. He can just take a piece of paper or on a diary, he can note all that points, and these points are called as the hindering factors. It is a part of a managerial role to continuously keep communicating such factors to the reporting officer and take his help to overcome them in case if it is the hindering factor. Fourth point is, at the end of the performance period, the appraisee considers his own performance on each of the key performance area that was allotted to him. Taking into consideration the effort he had put in, difficulties he experienced, the results he achieved, and the context in which these were achieved, he rates himself on a rating scale. He can rate himself in the following categories like excellent, good, average, and poor. After assigning himself such ratings, he should start listing down all the factors in detail which helped him or either which deteriorated his performance. He should just make a list of all the factors that prevented him from doing better. And he should also make the list of the factors that helped him, that supported him in achieving the targets. He can take the help from step number 2 and 3 while maintaining this list. The list may be exhaustive, and after listing down all the facilitating and the hindering factors in point number 6, the appraisee should then classify these factors into the following categories. For example, like facilitating factors can be categorized in 5 ways. Number 1 is the personal or the individual facilitating factors. These factors are attributable to the performer, his abilities and effort. He was very knowledgeable, he had the good qualifications, and all that facilitated him. His previous experience also facilitated him in achieving the targets. Then at point number B, the facilitating factors may be attributable to the reporting officer. The reporting officer was very cooperative, he was experienced, and there was a great understanding with the employee and that particular reporting officer, and he was very supportive and he gave the proper guidance. So that may be the second category of the facilitating factor. Then the third facilitating factor may be attributable to the organization. Organization is really sound in its systems, in the policies, in the procedures, and the employee got a good kind of the system from which he was aware like what exactly was required on his part to perform, and that facilitated him in performing well. Then at point number D, facilitating factors may be attributable to the subordinate. The team he got was very cooperative. The people were highly motivated who worked under him, and that facilitated him in achieving the targets. Then point number E may be the facilitating factors that may be attributable to the external environment. Like these are the factors which are related with the socio-economic, political, and other conditions of the environment which is external to the organization. It may be, for example, liberalization of some policies by the government, support given by the newspapers, cooperative officials of the government, improved economic situation, or it may be poor image of the competitors. So all these are the factors that facilitated him in achieving the target. So these may be the factors that facilitated an employee in achieving the targets. Same case maybe with the inhibiting factors. They are also called as the hindering factors. Hindering factors again may be categorized in 5 ways, as we categorize the facilitating factors in the 5 categories. Same we are going to do with the inhibiting factors also. Inhibiting factors attributable to the individual, for example, poor memory, family problems, need to devote attention to children education, poor health, problems of expression and language. So all that are the factors that just hindered him, that created difficulty for him while he was performing his duties. Second category may be attributable to the reporting officer. The reporting officer was not very much cooperative. There was a delay in the decision making, lack of guidance and direction, busy boss, goals were ambiguous. So the allotment of tasks on the ad hoc basis, and even he didn't provide the proper adequate facilities to the appraisee. So these may be the second important category of the inhibiting factors that hindered him, created difficulty for him to achieve the targets. Then the third category may be attributable to the subordinate, like the subordinates that were provided to that appraisee were not cooperative. There were the union problems. There was a problem of absenteeism. They were very slow in their work. They had the poor capabilities, and they need a close supervision. So that kind of the factors like stopped him from performing well. Then the fourth category of the inhibiting factors may be attributable to the environment. There was a sudden change in the economic, social, and political climate. There was delay in supplies. Unexpected event occurred. There was a pandemic that created a problem in the whole economy. So these kind of the factors may inhibit, may create difficulty for an appraisee to perform well. Then the fourth category of the inhibiting factors may be attributable to the organization, like there is a lack of clarity in the policies. Policies are unplanned. Even there are the changes from the top management which were not informed to the subordinates well on time. So these kind of the factors just created the difficulty for that particular appraisee, and he want to avoid them in future. Once he maintained the list of facilitating and inhibiting factors in detail, in point number 7 or in step number 7, what he has to do actually, he can do this like he may reflect about individual facilitating factors that he want to maintain, and then he can also reflect the inhibiting factors that he would like to overcome in future. He should also think about the mechanism he would like to adopt to improve his strength and overcome his weakness. He may also think about the support he requires from his reporting officer to implement his plans. Then in step number 8, the individual should also reflect on the support that could be extended by his reporting officer to maintain the external facilitating factors and to reduce or weaken the inhibiting factors. In step number 9, he then should pass on the performance analysis to his reporting officer for his comments, addition to the factors identified, performance review and counseling discussions. So in this way, the performance analysis may be conducted in the organization. The basic thing what we have learned in this chapter is about the facilitating factors and the inhibiting factors. Once you will join any organization, there you will find the facilitating factors and the inhibiting factors. So these are the factors that just helps you or either may create the difficulty for you in achieving the targets. So this is all from this chapter, and in our next class we will discuss the next new topics from unit number 2. Thank you.